More news. The federal government of Nigeria has said that it will impose a fine of 100,000 naira each time any Nigerian brand that creates adverts abroad but broadcasts them on international or local channels in Nigeria. This, according to the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. In more news, the Senate, Nigerian Senate on Tuesday requested additional information on the proposed $1.5 billion and 995 million euro foreign loans to be taken by the federal government to execute some agricultural projects across the country. The Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts at an interface with the Ministries of Agriculture, Finance, and the Debt Management Office over those funds, or those loan sizes actually, directed them to furnish more details before the approvals can be given. Joining us to discuss these headlines is Arise business analyst Chika Onbono. Chika, good to see you again. I'm fine, sir. Good morning. The revenues from the liquefied natural gas project, what do you make of those figures?
You know, in my travels around the country, usually people accost me at the airports and ask me, why do you guys do what you do? Why do you keep talking?
Okay.
You know, why do you keep talking? It looks like you people talk and nothing changes, and they listen to you. And I tell them that we'll keep talking because it works. Because it works for two reasons. One, we have some African countries who reach out to people like us and, to help them out in certain things. And we give them advice and they implement them and they work. And the countries are transforming. They look at Nigerian NLNG now.
Yes.
You know, it's a success. Success has many fathers. You can see our president, celebrating it. I wish he has also spoken about the refineries along the same line.
Exactly.
Or the former Nigerian Airways in the same line. Or Nigerian shipping lines in the same line. Or even Nigerian Railway Corporation in the same line. So we speak because these things work. And the models are not complicated. You cannot legislate investments into your country, no matter how well you wish it. The LNG concept has worked because of three reasons. One is the fact that an LNG Act. That LNG Act has given, assurances, incentives and guarantees to investors. So even when Nigeria was a pariah state, those investments came in.
Right.
Because those assurances, incentives and guarantees were there for investors, that the investments will be protected.
Yes.
And the government's role in that respect is to legislate. It's not legislate, it's to provide that enabling environment. Make sure that they don't reverse the policies along the line. And so that those investments will be there in the long term. So that's one of the major reasons why LNG has succeeded.
Okay.
So that reason also is the corporate governance shareholding structure.
Yes.
The government has a 49% there through NMPC, and the international companies own the balance. And because of these international companies now, you will find that you have the best practices there. The best recruitment practices there. You don't have some people in the House or Senate or minister who give them a list of people to employ.
Yes, okay.
People who read history to be in engineering, people who read botany to be in some funny things.
Yes.
Because they come from, they provide a list. So this company is run on the best corporate governance levels. And because of the international investors there, shareholders there,
yes,
international banks have the confidence to bring in funds into that place. Now, this is work. And then the other aspect of it, the shareholding structure is the fact that even Nigeria with 49% national shareholding has been enabled Nigeria to implement some social and nationalistic agenda. Because you may not know that the president said it proudly that this has been done with 95% of Nigerian engineers.
Right.
So you have a core of Nigerian engineers that this institution has trained. So Nigeria has profited from two ways: taxes from profitable company.
Yes.
It's only a profitable company that pay taxes, and then dividends. As a 49% shareholder. So again, it's a profitable company that can pay dividends. So this is work. And the models work.
Yes.
And this is what we recommend to government always.
To replicate.
Look at now, I'll give you an example. We are borrowing money to finance the railways. Now we'll ask the minister, as of now, where is the reserve fund to pay back these loans? There's none. So do you have a captive revenue line for each of the one to Ibadan, one to Abuja, Kaduna, so that these loans will be repaid? Where's the revenue model? What's the revenue plan? How are you running them? What are the best practices are you using running them? So that they run professionally, make revenues to pay back these loans. We don't have them. Where's the Nigerian shipping line? So the land is filled with so many projects that have failed because politicians have not realized that they cannot run projects. The government, despite the best policies, despite the best wishes, cannot run projects. So as we celebrate LNG, as the president celebrates these results, Let's take the lessons from there
Right.
and replicate it around the landscape, because this is work. This is work. Where they have been done diligently, the government providing a level environment, letting the companies run, the companies have flowered. Not surprising, therefore, that LNG is about the only government investment where government has shareholding that's really very profitable. Before I step away from there,
Yes.
despite this success, brother, do you know that some political jobbers have been, harassing LNG?
Right.
They get inside. And you would think it's for nationalistic agenda or for the good of the nation. No, these are for clannish and selfish agenda, because they're not being allowed to, send these history people to go and be engineers, or some fake people to go and be contractors, collect job money and they'll not pay. Underqualified people to go and take jobs they will not pay. Just like you see, that's why. So they're trying to force them to pay some levies and so on and so forth. Thank God they act. Even some instances where they have gone to court, the act has protected them. So let the nation not be seen as a country that supposed brings investment in, and they misship, they change policies. Look at what has happened to the auto policy.
Right.
A lot of people have made investments here. I've interviewed a lot of them, and they're all crying. How is it that they're making investments here to assembly cars here, and then midstream you're changing the policy and reducing the duty for imported cars to 5%? So now, a lot of them are talking about FBUs now, fully built up units, going to start importing and some manufacturing. And so many employees are going to be thrown out of the market. So the issue is, let's be known as a nation that provides the enabling environment, the incentives, the assurances, the guarantees for investors to come into their country. And so they will have more successes like LNG. It can be done. And that's why we're going to speak.
Well said. Well said. Chika, you mentioned something very important. You said you cannot legislate investments into economy. I want to get your comments on Lai Mohammed's appearance on the state television, where he said that for those ads that are created in that country, you have to pay.
I have no problem with that.
You don't?
I don't have a problem with that.
You don't think it will chase them away if they have ads?
I don't have a problem with that. See,
Okay.
let me tell you. The only problem I have is that let it be uniformly applied. Now, it's still in line with local content development.
Yes.
Producing what we eat and eating what we produce.
Yes.
It's along the same line. So you make it's a decision when it's nationalistic, want to develop here, because with that amount of money, you'll be surprised, what 5-second advertisement in CNN, how much it costs.
Yes, it costs a lot of money.
If you bring that investment into television stations, producers like you, writers like you,
Yes.
are more creative,
Yes.
very remunerated, stop selling pure water and focus on your writing,
Right.
so they can turn out very good scripts. That's why.
Right.
The remuneration is all right. That's why things are happening. So people there's no power to write. You're writing scripts, you're worrying about so many things. So let people focus. So that money, if you use properly, is supposed to fund local content development, and so that local industry will develop. I have no problem with that. But my decision is that let's be universally applied. We are building railways. We are building roads.
Okay.
We are building.
Okay, now I see where you're going.
So as you're hiring, bringing foreign engineers here,
Yes.
for each foreign engineer that you bring,
Yes.
you pay a penalty
Okay.
for it.
Okay.
So that we can use to develop our Nigerian universities. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm following you.
Yes, it's the same thing.
Right.
Because that's how a lot of nations, write their contracts.
Right.
So that
Okay.
you can develop the nation too. So that's what I'm telling you. I have no problem with it.
Make it uniform.
Yeah.
All right. President Buhari's UK trip for a routine medical checkup.
Well, I mean,
his front page in this day today.
Okay, let's put it this way. Let me put it this way. The optics do not look right for our president.
They do not.
The optics do not like, especially with the circumstances we have now. The National Association of Return Doctors are going on strike for poor pay. So many things are happening, So, and our president is going to that side to go and
routine medical checkup.
So, now, but you see, a man is entitled to the best medical care he can afford.
Yes.
Now, we have read that our president used to do this before he became a president. So it was been a pattern for him. So once he became a president, he cannot stop doing it. Just because he's a president.
Yes.
But if he surround it with other factors, the things I can't confirm them. The things we have read about the
clinic and clinic, right.
And the problems we have there, how unprepared we were for this COVID issue. Now and then the things he has said as a president before as a candidate. When he was a candidate concerning election about this medical, what do you call it? Tourism.
Yes.
And that he's going to put a stop on this. So that's why I said the optics do not sound right for him. But I has had to say that, brother, if a man is not feeling well and he thinks that the best, part of getting well also is the psychology of who is treating you. A lot of times you see the doctor, there's some clinics you go to, you just say, no, I'll die here. Even if, so if he thinks he's gonna get it, let him do that. He's a president. But but as I said, the optics do not look like it. Right.
Okay, well, let's move on. That settles it. On loans, the Senate really grilled the debt management, the Director General of the DMO, also the Minister of Finance on those loans that they wanted for. They said to get more details.
Yeah, see. Remember, I've said concerning this program that because we have budget cycles.
Yes.
We have $1.5 million a day, at $67 per day per barrel.
Yeah.
The revenue is restricted. For 200 million people, what can you do? So you need to borrow to finance, infrastructure. So that's given. But my problem has been the fact that the land is filled with so many loans in our books that we'll have to pay with so many abandoned projects. Those projects are supposed to be finished, properly project managed to pay back those loans, but they don't happen in this our country. So you have loans now that are approved, disbursed, meanwhile there are no projects to pay back the loans. That's the problem. And so, if the Senate is doing the right, or the House of Reps, the committees are doing the right thing, let them grill them, because before you can see you have your walkover. I've had some ministers here that they're actually embarrassing when they ask some ministers some question and they just can't defend something. Right. Sound lack of rigor. There's absolute lack of rigor in our process. Sometimes it's very peripheral the way people think and reason and talk, and you wonder how much detail they're going to those projects. But it's surprising because when you listen to other land where people like that talk about the projects, they take ownership, they trigger us by their fingertips, and they're sounding confident and direct. That's the problem I have with Nigeria. And let the House continue to grill them.
One of the things that the Senate said was that for agriculture, because the Minister of Agriculture wanted to bring in tractors, they said, look, are you sure that the farmers are trained immediately to use these tractors? Can the tractors be maintained? I thought it was very,
I agree with you, because just go to the airport. You see some of these buses, they used to move around people. There's a graveyard of them. You go to the government offices even, you see a graveyard of vehicles.
Yes. Because
of what you just mentioned now. The tractors come in, there's a big launcher, musicians play, it is launch. And after that, what happens after that? Poor maintenance, poor usage, the people are not properly trained. Our farms are not mechanized in such a way that they add value. So it's important. So let it just be a dumping ground for that. So it's the whole value chain. Remember what I said?
Yes.
Lack of rigor in the way we do things.
Arise business analyst Chika Nbono. Chika, thank you so much for taking us through those headlines. You're watching the Global Business Report here on Arise News. Up next, we talk about Kenya's real estate sector. You stay tuned.